It's a beautiful time of year where we're getting pumpkins. So here's another Preserve the Harvest video on preserving pumpkins, and we're going to do it two ways. We're going to dehydrate some of this for pumpkin flour, and we're also going to process some of this for pumpkin puree, so we can use it in other recipes. But first, we got to clean the pumpkin. And this particular pumpkin is called a Connecticut field pumpkin. So, go through and scrape all the gooey bits. I'm going to set this one up for dehydrating. Just cut it into, like you would a watermelon rind almost. Cool. And then with these, all I really want is the fleshy part. So basically just skin the outside of it. So I'm going to set the first part of this up for dehydrating, which is really easy. We have one of those round dehydrators, a mandolin. Make it basically your biggest wedge you have, and just simply run it through. And you set up on your rack. So it's evenly spaced and nothing's really overlapping too much. And this will get dehydrated on 145 for about 12 hours. So there we go. 6 trays of pumpkin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All filled up, ready to go. Put the dehydrator lid on. We're going to set this at 135. And plug it in and let it go. So for this part, you can do it one of two ways. You can bake your pumpkin like you would with like an acorn squash. Cut it in half, lay it side down, bake it at 400 degrees for 15-20 minutes till it's fork tender. Or you can do it in a pot with water. You basically boil it like you would potatoes, like you're making mashed potatoes. You put it on a boil and you boil it until your pumpkin becomes super tender. You drain it, and then we use our blender and we blend it up. So basically take your pumpkin and cut it into chunks. Okay, so the pumpkin's all been cleaned and quartered and diced up, and now it's on the stove. I'm going to bring it up to a boil so these all get tender. I may have overfilled it, but that's the whole pot. That's the whole pumpkin. So that big pot there and dehydrator over there, that's one medium-sized Connecticut field pumpkin. Okay, so here we go. Pumpkins are pretty much softened. And this part that Justine likes because I don't get to make a mess of her kitchen. So using a slotted spoon. See what I mean? Drop these into a blender. Still got a little more in there, but let's go ahead and see how this does. pumpkin applesauce. Cool. Turn it into a pumpkin puree. So at this point, you can take your pumpkin puree and divide it out how you want, 1 cup, 2 cup measurements, whatever your recipes call for, and you can freeze it like this. But we're going to use this batch for pumpkin bread. So the recipe for pumpkin bread calls for 2 cups of pumpkin, 2 cups sugar, 1 teaspoon cloves, 1 teaspoon nutmeg, 1 teaspoon cinnamon. This is 8 cups, so we did the math, and we're going to add our nutmeg and cinnamon to the puree. And equivalent to like 8 cups of sugar. That seemed like a lot, like a ton. So I'm going to have that and only add 4. I'm not going to add this all at once. Oh my. Oh, that's good. Perfect, just like it is. So, yeah, we're going to divide this out, and we're going to go ahead and freeze it into 2 cups portions. Oh, you could eat this whole thing. You really could. Oh, it's that good. All right, let me get in here and pull this thing out. Now I'm going to divide this up into 2 cup portions. Now I don't know if you can can this or not. I just don't know. Try to get all the air out of it that I can. And it's still really warm. So. Oh, if we make muffins out of this, then it turns out half as good as this tastes. Oh. Now, I know it looks a little runny, and it probably is, but we are going to freeze it. And when we go to make pumpkin bread, that recipe calls for flour, baking soda, baking powder, all that stuff. So that'll thicken this up. Okay, so there we go. When I baked the pumpkin, like you would a regular gourd or squash, it was a little thicker. And I divided it into 1 cup portions and froze them on a cookie sheet. And when they came out frozen, I just put them in a bag and sealed them. And then this one is our liquid puree pumpkin, already flavored with the cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and sugar. I'll free these all out just like that so they're flat. Save space in the freezer. And when we go to make bread, all we need is the flour, baking soda, that kind of thing. And we'll add that to it and bake it up. And then our third way is, of course, dehydrated pumpkin. And this is some we've already done. And then this, we'll grind that down and turn that into pumpkin flour and use that in our recipe. So technically that's 3 different ways to preserve your pumpkins. And we're going to use all of it this winter. So all the pumpkin is dehydrated. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. And now I'm just putting it in our grinder and jarring it up. Pumpkin flour. So I hope somebody learned something, somebody got something out of this. Until next time, be safe, be blessed. And I have a mess to clean up in the kitchen. But we'll see you soon.